Hello, kia ora, g'day. I'm Philip Duncan from Weather Watch TV on YouTube with your Australia-only forecast through until Sunday. And we've got a little bit of energy still in the southeast, a big low moving out into the Tasman Sea. Loads of thunderstorms at the moment. Lord Howe Island getting some of those. Norfolk Island missing out for the most part, but you might get some of these other ones as it tracks through across today and tonight. And we've got a few thunderstorms also coming into Victoria, right on the border of New South Wales here in the southeast, along with heavy downpours carrying on as well, coming into New South Wales as well. But look, a large part of Australia not seeing much energy at the moment. It is a quieter week coming up, although there is still a little bit of life in the south. Here is the next cold front moving in towards Western Australia, the southern parts of Western Australia. So let's have a look at the situation this evening. High pressure, that is the main feature coming out of the Indian Ocean, right across Australia itself, and then of course this large area of low pressure off the coast of Sydney. Now that low is moving slowly towards New Zealand, but it's being cradled by high pressure that is ballooning all the way around it. That means it's kind of slow moving as it departs. Now the high pressure systems are also making the forecast a little bit more complicated in some areas. It just sort of alters the wind directions, but we'll try and break that down for you. The main feature here is a southerly flow coming through central parts of Australia. It fans out as an easterly for the top part of Western Australia and fans out as a westerly for Queensland and even some parts of New South Wales. So let's have a look at the Tuesday setup. It is still wet and cold in parts of Victoria and Tasmania, more under that wintry weather. So yes, a dusting of snow still likely for the ski fields and the tops of the mountains, tops of the peaks, getting that wet weather. Windiest weather is moving out to sea, although it's still very windy in the very southeast corner here on the border, may still be getting gale force conditions. Milder and sunnier westerlies come up towards the southeast part of Queensland, and southerly winds bring in a few showers for South Australia and the western side of Victoria. It's not a huge amount, but you never know. There could be some thunderstorms in there that just make it a little bit heavier than it looks. And over here is that cold front that I mentioned coming into the southwest corner. Does come up to Perth and northwards, fades out pretty quickly, won't be a huge amount of wet weather, but there could be some thundery downpours as that little wintry change comes on through, but it's warmer ahead of it with northwesterlies. So Wednesday, the next high from the Indian Ocean moving in already, replacing that cold front. So the winds die down, the southerlies fade away, still a few showers left over. Most of the showers in Western Australia hugging that southern coastline as that wintry southerly comes on through. Not so much showery weather coming in for South Australia. There is a little bit of showery weather through there. It's not as much as you've been seeing, and still the chance of a few isolated downpours or thunderstorms around New South Wales, possibly still in the southeast corner as well. But look, large dry areas are on the map. There's not a lot going on up in the tropics as well. In fact, the red line pretty much clearing the Northern Territory, so Darwin not even as hot and humid as it could be. We do still see a few showers in the northern parts of Queensland coming off the Coral Sea. Couple of isolated showers, maybe an isolated downpour around some parts of New South Wales, but it's generally colder and drier into the southeast for a time here on Thursday before the next low. Now this is a pretty weak low pressure system moving through South Australia, but between the low and the high that's in Western Australia, there is a southerly coming through, and that could help feed a few downpours in there, a few thunderstorms as that system comes on through. Not so much for Victoria, may still be a remaining snow flurry high up, but otherwise it is just cold around the A.C.T, cold around Victoria, cold around Tasmania, and some parts of New South Wales as well. By the end of the week, still stays cold, frosty conditions carrying on. Thanks for those of you who told me how cold it was at your place. Always fascinated to see your temperatures, so let me know that on YouTube. But we do see the colder weather lingering here. It's just like the southern part of New Zealand at the moment, stuck in this cold weather for a little bit longer. As we see low pressure sort of remaining in the Tasman Sea, that between the high over Tasmania and the low here, right next to Lord Howe Island, brings in a bit of a southeasterly flow straight into New South Wales. So those of you on the coast, millions of you, may be seeing the cooler change coming through, will be feeling it, and there might be a few heavy showers as well coming through, especially with the bit of the daytime heating. And you jump over to the other side, there is that southwesterly flow, also dropping temperatures again. Not much happening at the top, light easterly winds, dry for many of you, just a few coastal showers in Queensland, which stays there on Saturday, although it's not very much. Large dry areas, we've still got some downpours hugging New South Wales on the eastern side. One or two might form inland as well, which you can see here on the map. Otherwise, dry and cold in many areas like Tasmania and Victoria, just the risk of a couple of coastal showers. The low pressure system near South Australia remains with a few showers in there, nothing too substantial by the looks of it. But you know, this is still a few days out, might wingle around a little bit. Hopefully it goes northwards a wee bit more than it shows right there. And the big picture here on Sunday kind of shows not a lot going on. The thundery weather has been pushed right up into the tropics now, so that is way up here, well north of Australia. We've got a couple of showers in the far north here of Queensland and still around parts of South Australia, maybe the very eastern side of Western Australia, also the southwest corner of Western Australia, just a couple of showers. That's high pressure in Western Australia though, so not a lot going on. And the blue line here, a little hard to see, but that still covers Tasmania, much of Victoria, the A.C.T and southern parts of New South Wales. Basically that just means wintry polar air is still sticking around, frosty conditions still possible, maybe a little bit of snow lingering, although I think most of the snow will be clearing away. But yeah, high pressure moving back in from Western Australia, but a little bit of low pressure here around South Australia means there's a chance going into next week that some of those showers will move into Victoria. And that is all from me for today. I'm away on Thursday this week for our usual video, but we'll be pushing out one day, so we'll have that for you on Friday. Have a good week ahead.